And anytime you're ready to get started. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, you'll be hooked. La 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 la. That's one of those tunes that's just stuck in my brain since the 1980s or something.
Yeah.
Just the beginning of Willy Wonka song or whatever. I didn't even know the song. But I don't think a day's gone by where at some point I didn't sing, "Come with me." Do you have songs like that that are just in your head? I can't explain it.
Yeah.
Another one that I always sing to myself is, I sing tons of songs to myself. But reoccurring songs, there's one by ABC. So here we are, drifting on an open sea.
Yeah.
Here we are, and then again we know. For all we know, I know. You know, it's not even the most catchy song I've ever known. I didn't even like the song. But I don't know why. It just... maybe because they're in a good range where it's easy for me to sing those songs. You know, it's like just a vocal exercise. Another one is there's a Simon and Garfunkel every morning when I'm making coffee. I always go, what is it now? Something about a silver, sail on, silver bird, sail on by.
Yeah.
Your time has come to shine. All your dreams are on their way. See how they shine. Why do certain songs just... what is that called? It's like an earworm or something where you just can't shake it. I'll just start singing the song and be like, wish I could quit singing that song.
I know, I hate that.
All right, what are we going to do today?
BOOZHOO!
And welcome to the show. Welcome to BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. My name is Michael Lyons. This over here is Emily. Hey, y'all. In that corner over there, it's Natasha.
BOOZHOO!
And over here, NANABOOZHOO.
Okay, hey.
Today's Ojibwe phrase. I'll let you do So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome NANABOOZHOO.
Thank you very much, Michael. That was a lovely introduction. Okay, hey, BOOZHOO, everybody. Welcome to the live stream podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. Wena BOOZHOO ando. BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. Welcome to BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, huh, sweetie? Yep, that's what we say. Songs that get stuck in our heads. You know who's stuck in my head? Nancy Schmancy. That's right. Okay. Mino Giga Jabe, Nancy Schmancy. Let's get a gold star for an old Nancy. Gold star next to Nancy's name. BOOZHOO, Nancy. And Weesonese here, sweetie. Well, hey, Weesonese. Got a silver star. BOOZHOO, Weesonese. BOOZHOO. And John Redcorn says, the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. Do we still have that Paul Stanley video? I don't know. Do you want me to look for it? I don't know. I can probably look for it. Who cares? Paul Stanley once wrote a Folgers commercial. But can we get John a bronze star? Bronze star for John. What's going on, Niji? BOOZHOO, Niji. So today, on today's Ojibwe Language and Culture podcast, I would like to discuss second day. Nijo Gija Good. Sweetie, did you know that back in the days of the grandfathers, yeah, people were, what's the name of the show? Angry, hungry, and afraid? Yes. Today's Ojibwe, I don't know. I'm trying to tie it into the random Ojibwe language lesson. Nish Gaddis. Oh, I'm mad. I'm so mad, sweetie. Are you angry? I am. I'm so mad at my mother. She's 102. And she calls me up the other day. She says, hey, I was wondering if I could borrow some money. She wanted $20 to buy some food. I said, hey, I work for a living. No, you didn't. So I loan her the money. She calls me back up. She says she can't pay me back for a while. I'm like, what is this crap? So I'm having her work on my transmission. No. And if she can't fix that, I'm going to have her haul my barbells up to the attic. The whole thing. Is that a Steve Martin bit? Yeah. That was a joke I did. My first stand-up routine when I was 16 years old. I stole word for word from the Steve Martin record stand-up material. And that was one of them. I'm so mad at my mother. 102 years old. I mean, what's the joke? The joke is that he's just a huge jerk. Yeah. Speaking of huge jerks, is Jim Dunn back? Yep. Can we get some coal for Jim the jerk Dunn? No, don't say that. Hey, Niji, how you doing? I don't think you're a jerk. Don't get sad. I'm sad enough for both of us. Are you sad? Ginash Gaindam? You sad? Gigash Gaindam Enna? You sad? You sad, bro? Yeah, I'm sad. Ningush Gaindam. Oh, I'm so sad. What makes you sad, sweetie? What makes me sad? Does global warming make you sad? Nope. Does, mega country make you sad? Oh yeah, the make American great domestic terrorism. I'm so sad, I'm scared. Are you scared too? Are you afraid? Oh, Biden's got me afraid of the extreme mega Republicans. They're a threat to democracy, you guys. Ningotage. Oh, I'm afraid. What if the extreme mega, whatever he calls them, non-Democrats, what if they want to destroy democracy? Yeah. I've already destroyed my own democracy. What do you mean? I quit. I'm not going to vote anymore. You're all done? Yeah. You guys can do what you want with the country. I'm just staying here. This land is your land. This land's not my land. My ancestors gave it away to the dominant culture, to the colonizers. We lost our land. This land belongs to somebody else. Oh no, I'm so afraid. Ningotage. Oh, look at me. I'm the Anishinaabe ancestors. Oh, what's that? A colonist? Oh, I better roll over and learn their language. What are you talking about? I don't know. I'm being irreverent. Ningotage. I'm afraid. Nimbakade. I'm hungry. I'm hungry, sweetie. You want me to go make you a sandwich? You would. You're awesome that way. I'm traditional. You see that, ladies? This is how a traditional woman behaves. I just happen to say that I'm hungry. Boom. She's right there with the sandwich. Because a traditional lady is in the kitchen making sandwiches for her man. You shut up. What? Are you afraid? Gi gotajana? Ni? For some reason, I can't explain it. You just got to memorize it. Ni means me. Gi, with a G, means you. In certain words, you say gin, like, or gi, I don't know. Sometimes it's nin. When it's before a G, you say ningotage. You don't say nigotage. What if you're a nigo? Don't you start. And then for buckade means I'm hungry, or hungry. Hunger, whatever. But you don't say ni buckade, you say nim buckade. Nim buckade. Oh, I'm hungry. I'm so hungry, I could eat a horse. Don't eat a horse. Hey, you want to take a call on line 2? Sure, I'll take a call. Caller, welcome to the BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO podcast. What do we do here? The podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. Yeah, like she said. You're on the air. Oh, come on, man. Hey, sweetie, it's President Biden. Oh, President Biden, how you doing? Hey, hello, little darling. I'm doing all right. Oh, you smell good. Shut up, you can't smell me. What can I do for you, Mr. President Joe Biden? You're making jokes. You're making jokes. It's not funny. It's the extreme mega Republicans. They're a threat to democracy. I mean, come on, man. I'm serious here. No joke. They're come and get you. Yeah, I'm not really afraid of, what, pro-lifers? Who exactly are you talking about that are a threat to democracy? It's the mega Republicans. They want to make America great again. I mean, come on, man. They're going to make America great again. What's wrong with that? Wait. I dropped my notes. What do you mean? I dropped my notes on the floor there. I don't know what to say. Well, just tell me what you really think. Well, I always just read the cue cards, man. I need the cue cards. I mean, come on, man. It's, I don't know. It's mega something or other. Who is this? This is NANABOOZHOO. You called into my show. Who? NANABOOZHOO. I have the podcast. Oh, yeah, what's going on? What you want? Nothing. You called me. Oh. What's the Ojibwe word of the day? Well, I was talking about, whoops. I was talking about being afraid, and I got all afraid when you gave your speech. There's a group of, Republicans who are going to come get us or something. Oh, yeah, the mega, make America great again. Yeah, they're all right. I mean, come on, man. No, you're a Democrat, remember? You don't like them. Oh, right. No, they're a threat. They're a threat to them. Where's my doctor? Where's my Dr. Jill? That's your wife. No, she's my sister. No, Jill's your wife, and she's a doctor, I guess, or a teacher or something. But she's not your actual doctor. Listen, I got to go do a show here. Kids, is there anything else I can do for you? Yeah, I'm hungry. How do you say I'm hungry in an Indian? Well, in Ojibwe, we say Nimbakade. I'm hungry. Yeah, I'm going to go get me an English muffin. Yeah, that sounds pretty good, huh? English muffin? You gonna make an English muffin for breakfast? Yeah. I'm gonna go over and see what that old Queen Elizabeth is up to. She's an English muffin. I'm gonna go sniff her hair. No, she passed away, sir. What? The Queen of England. She passed away a couple days ago. Oh, is she dead? Yep, she's dead. She's in heaven. Well, I'll be darned. I didn't know that. Yeah, you did. You just forgot. I can't remember so well. Yeah, I know. All right, I gotta go. Oh, no, wait. How do you say goodbye in Ojibwe? Well, we don't really say goodbye, sir. We say, I will see you again. Gi gawaba min, minowa. Gi gawaba min, minowa, boy. Don't call me boy. Hey, what's that girl's name? Natasha? Yeah, tell her I said, Gi gawaba min, minowa. Hey, sweetie, the president says, yeah, I heard him. Gigawaba man, me know what, Joe? Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, we'll see you, Prez. Wow. The Ogama himself. Yeah, I'm surprised he watches the show. Yeah, well, he kind of wants to learn Ojibwe, I guess. Yeah. John Redcorn says, Gi buckade, you hungry? Oh, okay, so Gi, it is Gi buckade? You don't say Gim buckade? I thought we added an M before bees. I guess not. Gi buckade. But if you want to ask somebody if they're hungry, you have to add an ena. Ena makes the question. So it'd be like, Gi buckadeana? Gi buckadeana niwini mushain? Are you hungry, my darling, my sweetheart? Yeah, I'm hungry. I'm hungry for love. I'm hungry like the wolf. Nah. Hungry like the wolf. Hungry like the wolf. I'm hungry like, what was the guy's name? The lead singer of Duran Duran? Yeah. That was, John Bonham. No, Bon Scott. No, what was his name? Her name is Rio and she's dances on the sand. What's your favorite Duran Duran song? Don't say a prayer for me now. Save it for the morning after. Oh yeah. Speaking of saying a prayer, should I go outside and say a prayer? You can do it, or I can do it. Either way. You know what? I better go out. I'm gonna go out and put out some tobacco. All right. Do you want me to teleport you? Could you? Sure. I'm gonna go step outside and save a prayer for the morning after. This is the morning after. Is this the morning after? Yeah. How about last night, guys, huh? Wasn't that crazy? Oh, we tore it up. What'd you do last night? Nothing. Hoka, hey. Hoka. Yeah. Will you take me outside? Sure. When to teleport? Make it so, number one. No, get out of here. Here we are. Oh, BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. Hello, birds. So I'm just going to say a very quick prayer in Ojibwe mowing. Ojibwe. What do you call an Indian cutting his grass? An Ojibwe mowing. So here's a little Sema. We skipped our 9/11 show. I don't know why we did that. I didn't get a chance to talk about the hilarious conspiracy theory known as the official story of 9/11. Maybe I'll talk about that. But first, I have to ask the Creator to help me speak well. Kitchimanadu. Odapana niwi asema. Great Spirit, accept my tobacco. Daga we duka wishin. Ando minaway nungom. Help me to speak well today. Miigwech ka iji ka kina ke go, ka iji chikean nungom. Help me to, thank you for everything that you do today. Dash. Miigwech ka bizan dawiyag. And thank you for listening. Apeyenge. Amen. Miuminik. That's enough. So yeah. It was a September 11th, the 21st anniversary on Sunday. And it kind of came and went and nobody talked about it. For my generation, 9/11 was like the boomers, where were you when John F. Kennedy was shot? Everybody had a story. Oh, I remember when I heard about it. Well, for millennials, and I'm not a millennial, but for people who were paying attention to the news and stuff, in 2001, that 9/11 thing was the thing everybody watched. I mean, it was more popular than the final episode of MASH, if you can believe that. More people watched the fake footage of 9/11 than did watch the goodbye episode of MASH. Now I'm just listening to the wind. Aho, great spirit, whose voice we hear in the wind. We need your strength and your wisdom. The wise words. How do you say wisdom? Nabwakowin? Nabwakowin. Wisdom. But 9/11 has turned into one of those things where it's like the moon landing. There's a historical thing that happened. Everybody talks about where they were when they heard about it. Then later on, people start poking holes in the story, and it triggers the people who don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear. It seems disrespectful to go, what? No, I'm sure that's probably crap. I personally do not believe 19 men who were jealous of our freedom hijacked 4 planes. I do not believe planes will demolish, drop, pulverize skyscrapers. I don't believe Tower 7 that they want us to forget about. The 3rd skyscraper in Duluth, in New York City, to fall on September 11th that nobody cares about. They want to forget that fell too. I don't believe any of the official story. I did on the day. But it's absurd. It's ridiculous. It's laughable. It's mockable. But people don't want to hear people questioning. Well, let me get this straight. Guys took box cutters on a plane. Threatened people with box cutters. And then, having never been trained on how to fly commercial airline planes, don't tell me they took flying lessons. That's not the same thing as learning how to fly a jet airplane. They wouldn't know how to do it. But I don't believe any of it. I mean, I believe those buildings fell, I guess. But beyond that, who knows? Oh, really? Then what happened? That's what they always want to tell you, If you reject the official story, they expect you to have to know what the truth is. It's like, no, that's an obvious lie. Oh, really? Well, then how did they do it? It's like, well, I don't know. There's no way I could know that. You know, but obviously nobody went to the moon. Obviously 4 planes weren't hijacked by 19 guys. The passport didn't survive. You know, that's obvious to me. There's so many inconsistencies in the official story that it's obvious there was a lie taking place. I don't know what the truth is. But I don't believe if it went down like they said that we would know who did it on the same day. Oh no, 4 different planes were all hijacked. It must have been Osama bin Laden from a cave in Afghanistan. So, what? How did you know that? Who's Osama bin Laden? Oh no, it's your government. They know everything except, you know, how to defend against terroristic masterminds. And I like how they immediately called them terrorists. You know, oh, this was done by terrorists. It's like, well, that assumes a lot above their motivation and, you know, oh, we're here to scare you. Oh, I'm afraid. I'm terrorized. Ningotage, I'm scared. But okay. John Redcorn says, Benny Tonts was at a camp I went to when I was a kid. And he kicked me out of camp. Is that right? Well, I'm sure if Benny had to kick you out, you probably had it coming. What did you do to absolutely deserve it? Benny Tonts. Cedar Trees is where Bigfoot lives. Blend with the trees. Is that right? I've heard that Bigfoot's a shapeshifter. That he can even shift his shape into something little like a chickadee. That's why they never find him. When he dies, he turns into a chickadee. People think it's just a dead chickadee. Are you out there, Bigfoot? I don't believe in the things that everybody believes in, but I do believe in the things that nobody believes in. I don't care if these people don't believe in you, Bigfoot. I believe in you. You can do it, Sabe. Don't let these people not believe in you. I believe in you. Don't take it personally. Half these people believe in Santa Claus. All right? You hear me, Bigfoot? Friendship says, I saw a chickadee yesterday. Hi, Bigfoot. There you go. Next time you see a chickadee, say hi. Bonjour, Sabe. Just in case it's a Bigfoot, you know. Do you guys believe in the Patterson film? The thing about Bigfoot, I wouldn't even believe in him if it was just based on mainstream whatever. You know, to the official story, Bigfoot was first discovered in the 1970s. But in Ojibwe, they had a word for Sasquatch, for Sabe, for a giant man, wild man who lived in the woods, had fur. He represented honesty. You know, there are old stories and old rumors of Bigfoot that are separate from ABC News, from Leonard Nimoy's Finding Bigfoot or whatever. So yeah. I want to find Leonard Nimoy's grave. How about that? Let's find Leonard Nimoy. Live long and prosper, Leonard Nimoy. Spock. I always like Spock, actually. I mean, I'm mocking his death now. But Spock was one of the original Wisakode Winanese on TV. He was a mixed blood. He was like a lot of us Indians who are part one thing and part another thing. Spock was half Vulcan and half human. And it wasn't always easy for him. And it's kind of like people who are half Indian, half white, where you kind of walk in two worlds. And you recognize you have personality traits from both sides. Spock tried really hard to be a good Vulcan. And a lot of his Vulcan traits gave him kind of an edge, a leg up on just basic humans. He's smarter than the average human. But because of his culture too, his mixed culture, he didn't always fit in with the Vulcans, and he had a hard time relating to the humans. He still had emotions, but he tried really hard never to use his emotions. He was always like, oh, it's only logical. As a Vulcan, I have to be logical. And Captain Kirk would be like, oh yeah, big Vulcan, you're just a half-breed. No. Show me a real Vulcan. Show me a full-blooded Vulcan, and I'll listen. And then later on, they introduced Worf. And he was another Wisakode Winani, another mixed blood. And Worf was part Klingon and part human. Or was he full-blooded Klingon but raised by humans? Yeah, he might have been raised by humans, and then he didn't know anything about his culture until he grew up. And he went back to discover his roots. Because there was an episode once where Worf had never gone through the rites of passage that a young Klingon goes through. We used to have that too. Young women and young men, when they came to the age to become a woman or a man, they would separate them from the other sex. And the elder ladies would talk to the young women, and they'd have ceremonies to help them recognize that they're becoming a woman. And a young boy the elders, the men would take him out and make him go on a vision quest. You might go fast. You might have to do something, face your fears. There's our challenges men have to go through to become a man. And the Klingons had that too, but Worf grew up kind of like a lot of us who grew up. Some of us didn't have dads. Some of us had dads who didn't try to, initiate their kids into manhood. The modern age, kids kind of grow up being taught by teachers more than anything. Our rites of passage in the modern age are like getting drunk, losing your virginity. We don't have the, what do they call it? Initiations like we did in the old days. So Worf came to a point where he was like, I want to go through the initiation. I'm going to go on a fast. I'm going to go on a sweat. Or whatever it is the Klingons did. Because he didn't feel like a man. Sometimes I wonder, how many of us in our generation, grown-up men, but we're also just kind of old boys. We don't remember when we stopped being a boy and we became a man. We didn't get the opportunity to go kill a buffalo or go to war. War made a lot of boys men back a couple generations ago. You go to Vietnam as a boy and you came back as a man. But the Generation X, they got rid of the draft. And the wars became weird. There was the Gulf War after 9/11, to go back to that. But that was nondescript. It's like, let's go get those dirty Baghdadians. Like, what they have to do with 9/11? Nothing. They're just, they're Muslims too, I guess. Bomb them. Kill them. Somebody destroyed our precious Twin Towers. You know how many lawyers died that day? You got lawyer blood on your hands. Osama bin Laden. Supervillain. Then Donald Trump comes out on September 11th, bragging, now I own the tallest building in New York City. It's like, yeah, Donald, today is not really about you, okay? You only achieve that by default. Also, you shouldn't. Yes, I know it was a tragedy, but the silver lining of this horrible day is that I, Donald Trump, now own the greatest building in all of New York. Me and my best friend, Rudy Giuliani, who will dress in drag, and I will... You ever see that disgusting display? I'm kind of done with Trump, too. Remember after September 11th where Rudy Giuliani, I should have pulled up a clip. He dresses up in full drag, and then Donald Trump, future president, molests him. And it was like supposed to be a joke or something. And you go, what? Ugh, I don't want to see that. But I don't know. That's when everything got so weird. I think the new age started September 11th, 2001. It was just a weird time. Everything never went back to what it was like before that day. Maybe that was the day we all became adults. Because it was the end of the innocence. We all lost our innocence on that day. We stopped being children. And we started to, dress and drag and let Donald Trump molest us for laughs on TV. Later on, he'd be the president. Oh, look out, here comes George W. Bush, a C student with a cocaine habit and alcoholism. He was the son of a former president, so, of course, because America is not based on royalty and bloodlines, he became the president. Oh, good. I guess he was the next best person in the world to lead us. I don't know. Now I'm crabby. Now I'm mad. Ninishkadas. Which is our Ojibwe word of the day. Ninishkadas. I'm so mad. And I'm a little sad. Ningosh Kingdom. Oh, Ningosh Kingdom. Oh, I miss my girlfriend so much. Boop, boop, boop. BOOZHOO. Sweetie, will you teleport me home? You ready to come home? Yeah, I miss you so much. I'm just sad. Get out of here. All right, one to teleport. Make it so, number one. Nah. Baby. Hey. Hi. Did you have fun outside? Oh, I sure did. What'd you talk about? Bigfoot, half-breeds, Trump and Giuliani. You're all over the place, huh? Yeah. Did you put out some tobacco? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's the end of the world as we know it, but John Redcorn feels fine. John feels fine. How do you know how John feels? Get out of here. Something going on I should know about between you two? No. Friendship says, end of the last cycle. Yeah, there's rumors in the wind. We're coming to an end. It's the Great Reset. Is that the name of what's-his-face's books? Your book? Yeah, Alex Jones. The Great Reset. I don't know if we're coming to an end. We might be. But I do believe in a previous reset. You know, maybe it was the flood. Maybe it was some sort of war. But there was a period not that long ago, a couple hundred years ago, where something destroyed everything and everybody died. And then we were reintroduced, repopulated. We're inheritors of the world, of the flat earth. There was life and everything. There was a whole chapter before us. And there's still evidence of it all over the place, but they never told us about it. And they wanted us to believe that, because even look at the population charts. Yeah. And it's like you go through history, nothing. And then 200 years ago, boom, the line goes way up. And just overnight, exponentially population grows. It's like, what happened? Well, maybe that was the advent of electricity or something. Yeah, that's what they'd have you believe. Well, we just got so smart. Our ancestors were dumb. And in the 1800s, we invented everything, became modern humans. But what if there was a time, what if we've done this as a, population, as a species a number of times, where you start out primitive and you develop and grow and populate. And then like the Tower of Babel or something, or the flood or something biblical happens and it wipes out everybody. And all the old buildings get destroyed and everything gets covered in mud. They start it over. And they make up a history. There's no way we would know that whether it was true or not. Like even the boarding school era. What? We learned about our history not from our ancestors. We learned it at boarding school. That was the great tragedy of the boarding school era. Historically speaking, and there's still enough of us alive who knew people who went to boarding school to know that it existed. But they took all the kids, almost all the kids, especially in the early days, away from their family, is the story. What happened to all the elders? Apparently the elders just died off. There would have been a generation of survivors. I've never liked it that they talk about, Indian genocide. It wasn't genocide, you guys. We're still here. Shut up with that casual use. It wasn't genocide in the Holocaust either. But there might have been genocide of all humans at some point in history. And then all the babies they introduced into the world. And it only goes back maybe 4 generations. And nobody knows. There's no real record of human beings at all. We don't, this is my big complaint. And then I got to get off. It's already been 45 minutes. Oh, really? Yeah. This is my skepticism of the whole climate change thing. You see Bill Nye, the pervert guy, up there chewing out people who question global warming because they've never explained it. It's like, it's settled science. 10,000 years ago, something, they'll make a claim. It's like, how do you know that? You don't know anything about what happened 10,000 years ago. Nobody does. Scientists don't know. There's not a special machine in a lab that can judge the age of a rock. They're not digging down and figuring out. That's all nonsense. But it really annoys people like Bill Nye that someone questions their authority. It's like, yeah, well, you have none. Authority is just that, sweetie. What's that? An author. It's just the guy who wrote the story. It doesn't mean these are the facts of history. No. But now I'm annoyed again. Why don't you play a song and I'll get up here? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, up next, lovely and talented Natasha. But first, Here's a song with Michael Lyons, the rock star cartoonist, and Natasha. And this is called, you wrote this, didn't you? Yeah. What's it called? No Time. No Time. Miigwech, kabizanda wieg. Thank you for listening. I got no time and I don't know why. I got no tribe and you don't know why. I got no why, but I don't feel right. I don't feel right, no, I don't feel the same way today. Today, I don't feel the same way. Like North Dakota, wouldn't you rather live now in Minnesota? The days are short and the nights are colder, but she doesn't know because I never told her. I got no time, I don't know why. I got no tribe, you don't know why. I don't know why, but I don't feel right. I don't feel right, no, I don't feel the same way today. Today, I don't feel the same way today. Oh, go ahead. Put you on a pedestal until you were no longer credible, and I put you up so you could let me down. Maybe it's finally time to leave this town. I got no time, I don't know why. I got no tribe and you don't know why. I don't know why, but I don't feel right. I don't feel right, no, I don't feel the same way today. Today, I don't feel the same way today. I don't feel. Oh, for crying out loud. Sweetie, can you teleport me over there? Sure. Thank you. Hey, everybody. Just having some technical difficulties on this end. But, yeah, I love that song, Michael. Hey, thanks. I got no time and I don't know why. I got no... Do you have any time, sweetie? I got nothing but time. Time is on my side. Time is on my side. Yes, it is. Anyway. What's going on today, sweetie? I was just teaching some Ojibwe. Teaching Ojibwe on this Nijo Gijagood on the second day. We got to rent a car today. Yep, we'll do that right after the show. All right. Ninishkadas. Ooh, I'm mad. Ninishkadas. Oh, I'm just mad at you, sweetie. Are you really? No. I'm sad. Ningash Kingdom. Oh. Looking out through my morning tears. Ningash Kingdom. And what else did you teach? Ningotage, I'm afraid. I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today. Really? No. Ningo dad. Nimbakaday. I'm hungry. Ooh, I'm hungry. Weesani da. Let's eat. Want to go to Country Kitchen? No, I don't want to go there anymore. Why not? You know why? Because the food's terrible and it's really expensive. Exactly. I can make bad food here for us for cheap. Yeah. Hey, you know what? I can make eggs. We can make egg and ham sandwiches after the show. Let's do that. That's going to be the big morning feast. Ham and egg on toast. Some coffee. Some corn chips. Corn chips? Yeah, who cares? All right. Anyway, miigwech gonna wabi egg. Thank you for watching. No. You want to take a call? Oh, sure. I'll take a call. What line? Line 2. Whoops. Hello, caller. Welcome to the BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO podcast. You're on the air.
Hello, Natasha.
Well, hello, baby Adolf. Sweetie, it's Adolf Hitler. Okay, BOOZHOO Adolf.
Hello, NANABOOZHOO. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. What can I do for you, Adolf Hitler?
I was wondering if I could learn the Ojibwe word of the day.
Yeah, sure. Today we were talking about being mad. Ninishgadas.
Ninishgadas. I am mad. Oh, I get so mad sometimes. I pound my fist and I yell and I shout.
But no one will listen to little Adolf. They don't listen.
No, it makes me so sad. How do you say I am sad in Ojibwe?
Well, we say, Ningashgaindam. I'm sad.
Ningashgaindam. I am sad that nobody will listen to little Hitler. I used to have so many friends, Natasha. Adolf Hitler could show up and everybody would wave. They'd be like, "Hi, Hitler, hi."
I think they were saying Heil.
No, they were just saying hi and they were greeting me.
You think they were saying hi?
That's what, why?
Sweetie? Yeah? You have a call on line 3.
Line 3. Hang on, Adolf.
Caller, welcome to the BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO podcast. You're on the air.
Hi, Hitler.
You see, he said hi.
Oh, brother. Kalijah?
Yes. Hello, Natasha.
I've told you before, don't be coming on the show with that, Hitler stuff.
No, you misunderstand me. I said, hi, Hitler.
You sure you're not saying Heil?
No, of course not. I am not a Nazi. I am an Anishinaabe.
All right, but I got my eye on you. You better not. That's not funny. Don't make jokes like this.
Of course not. I will see you again, Min Führer. Kigawaba Min. Minawa.
Okay, we'll see you later.
Yeah, you too.
Oh, he seems like a very nice man. He said, hi, Hitler.
Yeah, I think he was trying to poke some fun at it. Anyway, I gotta go, Adolf. Is there anything else I can do for you?
I just want to know one more phrase of the day.
What would you like to learn?
How do you say, I will see you again in Ojibwe?
We say, Gigawabamin Minawa.
Gigawabamin Minawa. I will see you again.
Yep. See you later, Hitler. Gigawabamin Nagaj. See you later. I have no problem with Adolf Hitler.
What?
I'm not complaining about Adolf Hitler, but that Morel statue guy,
Oh, poor old Kalijah?
yeah, I think he might be a Nazi. You think that Morel's statue is a Nazi? Yeah, I mean, he's always up there with his hand up in the air. Oh, Heil Hitler. Well, it's not a joke, you know. I mean, dozens of people died in the Holocaust. I thought it was 6 million. And, can you believe that? Anyway, so what else did we learn today? Want to take another call? Do we have another call? Well, weren't you going to talk about Labyrinth again? I was thinking about it, but now I don't really want to. Do you want to go outside? Hey, can you teleport me to the moon? I sure will. I'm going to go up to the moon. All right, hang on. That's one to teleport to the moon. Make it so, sweetie pie. No. Oh, yep, there she is. The half moon. There's a star man waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet us, but he thinks he'd blow our minds. And there's no stars up here, so there you go. No lunar rover, no lunar lander, no American flag. No, nothing. All fake. But whatever. I mean, it's not like I'm the first one to figure that out. So quiet up here. It's almost like nobody can hear you scream in space. Hey, everybody, can you hear me scream? So here's just a couple of holes in the stories of outer space. How does heat travel through a vacuum? They say the sun is... Now they've moved it out to 93 million miles away. 93 million miles away. A number nobody could possibly imagine. We can imagine 10 miles, 20 miles, 100 miles, 1,000 miles maybe. But we can't imagine 93 million miles. And they say that's the closest star. But it's just a star. Those other ones that are all the same size and look like it's the same distance from the Earth, those are, varying degrees of light years. So many miles away, they call them years. But they say there's nothing out here. It's just floating because there's no air. Just gravity and nothing. But the sun heats the earth. We can feel it. When the sun comes out, it warms up. If the clouds go over it, or if you're in shade, it cools down. Obviously, the sun radiates heat. But how could it do it if it was 93 million miles away? How does it travel? I mean, is everything, we keep assuming that at some point you can look it up in a book how that works. They worked it out. That doesn't poke a hole in the theory that the sun's that far away. Because scientists have figured it out. They don't want you to believe your eyes. No, it's not 93 million. It's up there in the sky. I can watch it move. It's moving. We're not moving. Obviously. Once you deprogram, you go, oh, wait, no, that's obvious. The sun's not in outer space. No one's ever seen outer space. There's no such thing. We see a black dome over our head with lights in it. In the daytime, we see a blue dome over our head with clouds on this side of it. And the sun on this side of it. and the moon on this side of it. If there was no NASA, no TV, and no space science fiction, we'd never conceive of, oh, that sun is 93 million miles away, floating far, far away, and it's way bigger than everything we can see. It's like, no, our eyes tell us who knows how far away it is? Could be miles, but not 93 million miles. Well, that's ridiculous. Because in our eyes, too, if the next star, for some reason, they say is in the Andromeda Galaxy or Sirius or something like this. But their numbers, which are totally made up and ridiculous, there's trillions of light years away. Yeah, okay. How did you figure that one out, genius? Einstein. Einstein was just an actor, just a comedian. And scientists are the most naive, gullible people in the world. They believe everything they're told. They believe in the moon landing. They believe in International Space Station. They believe in life in other planets. They believe in Mars rovers. And so naturally they don't question anything. It's like, could they be wrong about that? What? No. There's no room for anyone in science to be wrong, even though to this date, the whole history of science is they were previously wrong about what they believed. And then we discovered the truth. And then that changed. Until people don't know how to think. But I don't know. So, hope I don't slip off the moon. I come from a land down under, where the women glow and the men plunder. Can't you hear the thunder? You better run. You better take cover. Living in a land... Anyway, I suppose I'll go home. I didn't even say a prayer. I just came up here to mock NASA again, I guess. Hookah, hey, hey, boop, boop, boop. BOOZHOO. Hi, sweetie. You ready to come home? Yeah. All right, hang on. I'm going to teleport you back to the office.
Okay.
1 to teleport.
Make it so, number 1.
Whew, what a ride. Hey, welcome home.
Thank you, baby.
You want to send us out?
I suppose I could, huh? Must be that time again. Hey, hey, mama, say the way you move. Michael, do you want to add anything?
No, that's good.
Emily? No, I'm good, darling. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching me Gwitch. What did I do with it? Hello. No, that's not it. Me Gwitch gonna wabi egg. Thank you for watching. BOOZHOO Ojiberish. That's not it either. BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. My name is Natasha. This is NANABOOZHOO.
Okay, miigwech.
That's Emily. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you again. And this over here is rockstar cartoonist Michael Lyons.
Thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
And I will see you again. Gee. All right, hold on. Hold on. I think we got this one too, don't we? Gee-ga-wabba min. Minawa. I'll see you again. Oh.
What?